Morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in this great, big, wonderful world. This is Dana Scranton, and welcome to 8 Minute Wisdom. Well, today we're going to start another series of episodes, and this time we're going to focus on the application of the six basic human needs. Now, from an entrepreneurial point of view, these are very important. One of the things that we as entrepreneurs do, as articulated in the definition that I use, is we identify and observe and understand the needs of others. That's how we connect a product, which is goods, services, or leadership, to the individual so that they can elevate themselves above the state they are in. And in that process, we gain some degree of revenue, whether that's personal, i.e., growth, gain in wisdom, knowledge, skills, capabilities, and so forth, or monetary. And of course, the sum of individuals is what we call a market. So when you have a certain percentage of that sum of individuals, you have market share, right? But in order to do that, there are a few things that we as entrepreneurs, as humans, have to do. And one of those is to understand how to apply the six basic human needs. Historically, the six basic human needs were popularized and developed to a large extent by Tony Robbins, aka Anthony Robbins, way back when he began his career in personal development coaching and the empire that he has built today. A lot of that was based on this very concept of the six basic human needs. Now, the ones that you see above my head are essentially those that he articulated with one major change, and that is change. Okay, we're going to get into that in a moment. But in this series, what we're going to do is take each of these one at a time, break it down, and talk about what it is, why it's important, how to apply it. That's pretty simple, seemingly. But what you'll find is that it will challenge to a certain degree your paradigms of thinking, and that's what we want. Because oftentimes people see these six basic human needs, but they're not really analyzed in the sense of how to apply them. Even Tony Robbins doesn't come out and really go in depth into these things, not that I have seen, not in a degree and a context that allows an entrepreneur to do something with them. Generally speaking, they are focused more on the individual, you. In other words, what are your basic human needs and how do you fulfill them? That's important. And so in this series of episodes, you're going to have that enlightenment. It's a byproduct of what we're going to be discussing. Now, certainty, change, growth, connection, contribution, and significance. Is there an order in these six basic human needs? Some would argue that there is no order, but what I have put on the screen above is an order that I would offer to you as a means of not only memorizing these, but understanding the interaction of them. This order is just for that purpose. There are going to be applications, individuals, groups of people, where the absolute order is different. So let me just give you a little bit of insight behind why I ordered them in this particular way. They're very similar to what Anthony Robbins, aka Tony Robbins, has done, but I have a very deliberate reason for doing this. First of all, certainty. People understand that they don't have complete control over everything that influences their lives. And they measure that with a degree of certainty. The opposite of certainty is uncertainty, okay? In a statistical or a mathematical sense, the absolute certainty of something happening is 1 or 100%. The absolute certainty that it'll never happen is also 1 or 100%. But in a human sense, when we are dealing with the concept of certainty, it's either 0, we're completely uncertain, or it's 1, we are completely certain. In between is where we live. So certainty and I'm not going to go into the details because that's going to be the next episode. Certainty is an emotional gauge, an emotional measurement of how comfortable you are at this point in time in your life where you sit. Okay. Now that prompts people to say, I either like where I'm at or I don't like where I'm at. And if they don't like where they're at, change is the next need that needs to be fulfilled. If they like where they're at, there's a very good chance they're going to say, well, if this is good, there must be more. And they're going to change to acquire more. So change follows certainty, in my opinion, whether it is total uncertainty or complete certainty. Change is inevitable, and change leads to growth. Growth in opportunity, growth in fulfillment, growth in experiences, growth in all areas of your life. Change is the gateway to growth. So when you're certain or uncertain about something, you more than likely are going to want to change something to get more of or less of whatever it is. And that change is going to produce growth in multiple areas. Next, connection. We as human beings have a need for connection to other human beings. Yes, there are those who live off the grid out in the middle of nowhere. They're perfectly happy not being connected. There are exceptions to every rule. But in the sense of the marketplace that we seek to address, called humanity, there is a need for connection in multiple areas. This connection is reflected in people's desire, for example, to participate in group events, whether it's meetings, churches, social groups, social media. Connection is vital to people. Connection is an opportunity as well to learn, okay? Once you are connected, we as humans have a natural herd desire to contribute to the greater whole, to contribute to our families, to contribute to our communities, our groups, whatever we belong to, wherever we are connected. We have a desire to contribute. And sometimes that contribution is very deliberate, and sometimes it's random, spontaneous, but it's all played out in our day-to-day lives of wanting to contribute in some way to the greater whole. Finally, significance. Significance is something that arises from contribution and connection, because significant to what or to whom? Well, significance to yourself. Am I significant in my mind and in my identity? Am I significant to someone or something else? Where someone may be one person, maybe it's a partner, a spouse, a family member, a child. Maybe significance extends to the larger groups, whatever they may be. Let's say it's the academic community in a certain area of specialization. Significance is a metric that people measure internally, how they feel about their significance to others, okay? So that's the reason that I put them in this particular order, because it does flow in that direction very oftentimes, but it's easy to remember that when you have certainty or uncertainty, you seek change. And when you change, you grow. And when you grow, you have a need for connection as a human. That connection gives you the desire to contribute, and contribution and connection leads to significance. And of course, growth, change, certainty, all of that, it adds up as you get to significance. So that's the basis. So what we're going to do in the following episodes is we're going to take each of these 6 human needs, these basic human needs, and we're going to talk about what is the underlying concept, what it means to the individual, how you as an entrepreneur can understand and apply that, and how you move it forward to elevate the lives of others, which ultimately is our objective, because that's how we profit. That's how we earn our revenue, is by changing the lives of others in a positive way. And the more we understand that, the more we are able to focus our internal energies to make that happen. So that's the introduction to what we're going to be covering. And, I hope you find some use in it. I have used it for years and years and years, ever since I learned about it way back in the beginning. I've got Tony Robbins' original VHS set, right, back before CDs. And it's grown a lot. But this concept is very important. So that's it. We'll see you out there on that wonderful frontier of opportunity, and in the next episode where we will talk about certainty. Take care.